We're also learning more about the plans for Trump's proposed Department of Government Efficiency. In an op-ed published by the Wall Street Journal, billionaires Elon, Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy argue protections against firing workers for political reasons do not apply to them. They also revealed some of the programs they might target. Let's bring in CBS News political reporter Olivia Rinaldi for more on this. Olivia, it's an interesting op-ed. Folks at home should certainly read it. One point they make is that there are too many people in government who are appointed, who are not elected, who make big sweeping decisions. These men weren't elected. They're being appointed, in essence. How would this department function?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. Good to be with you. It's really the first look we're getting at what DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, would look like, led by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, as you point out, two political appointees to oversee what is roughly seen as an overhaul of the federal bureaucracy and political appointees in Washington. They argue in this op-ed that agencies are acting in a way that they say is, quote, undemocratic and antithetical to the founders' vision of the country. And they laid out three major types of reform: administrative reductions, cost savings, and regulatory rescissions. And their argument for all of this is that agencies in Washington are acting out of step with the rules set by Congress, and they say with the backing of two Supreme Court cases that happened under President Biden's administration, they have the ability to go in and broadly make these large cuts across the government. And it's also would expand really some executive authority power that the president would have to arguably cut costs, or cut some of these agencies and some of their goals that were appropriated by Congress, kind of setting up a little bit of a fight there between the White House and Capitol Hill over whether or not some of these programs can be cut. Now, they say things like Medicare and Medicaid will be safe, but things like Planned Parenthood could see some dramatic cuts. And we know the Department of Education has also been in their line of sight of something they would like to see cut down, significantly reduced, or perhaps diminished entirely. So a lot of arguments there about what this could look like, what government could look like. But ultimately, they say they want to shrink the size of government, and they want to do it by July 4th, 2026, roughly 18 months into Trump's administration.
Certainly some big fights to come on that front. I want to ask you about Pete Hegseth. This is the Fox host who Trump wants to be the defense secretary and lead the most powerful military in the world. He's meeting with senators on Capitol Hill today. But what can you tell us about the police report connected to him?
Yeah, we're learning new details about that initial interaction that happened back in 2017 between Hegseth and a woman that accused him of sexual assault back then. Police released this report to the New York Times, which published more details about that initial interaction. We learned, even though Hegseth maintains that this entire interaction was consensual, the woman alleged to police that Hegseth had blocked her from leaving his room and then proceeded to have a sexual encounter with her back in 2017. She said that she also had difficulty remembering exactly what had happened, but does believe there was some type of sexual encounter. Hegseth's lawyer has maintained that this was consensual. This was investigated back in 2017, and there were no charges filed, which is the same thing that the Trump team is telling us. But all of this is happening, as you mentioned. Hegseth will be on Capitol Hill today talking with Republicans and senators who are in charge of confirming him, to lead the Department of Defense, the world's biggest military. So all of this kind of hanging over that interaction today on Capitol Hill.
Very important conversations to come. Olivia Rinaldi, we appreciate you waking up with us. Thanks very much.